Help. A little bit loud. Okay. Alright, good. Oh boy. Good evening. Hello. Sunday Treehouse.
Hello.
Hi. I was worried I would be alone in chat tonight. For a while, it seemed like I was gonna hit a new record of absolutely nobody. Hi, good woomy to you. So last week we had an unintentional debug session because things wouldn't work for reasons beyond me. We did eventually figure out what those reasons were, and essentially the reason was face calling. So if you're unfamiliar with this, the idea is that each triangle you draw somehow has a front and a back side. And in order to save resources, you're only ever going to draw the triangles that are facing you. So the only triangles that are drawn are the ones that have their front side facing to you. It's called face calling. And the way in which it determines which side is forward and backward is through something called the winding order, which is basically the sequence in which the triangle vertices are defined. So you can either define them clockwise or counterclockwise, and depending on that, it determines which side is front or back. And it turned out that the triangles I was generating in my font library were backwards rather than forwards. Also, let me quickly check that the recording is okay, because I'm not sure. It is. Good. Okay. Fantastic. Just for your information, the soundtrack I'm listening to right now is the Hand of Fate 2 soundtrack. So, in case you like it, go check it out. Alright, so now we can actually do some UI stuff. Amazing. So I showed this last time. This is basically this, which is very basic. You basically have a window which has a horizontal layout, and then you have inside that you have a spacer, a text field, spacer, text field, another spacer. So that's what you see here. So spacer and then a text field which you can select and stuff, and then another one, and so forth. Now the first thing I want to take care of is this. You see how the cursor is a hack? It's not actually a cursor, it's just a character inserted at the current position, which is quite awkward. So we're gonna go in here and see what we can do with this. Do I have an input? No, that's not it. Never mind. We have a, what is it, text field. Here we go. Alright, so the reason I did it like this is because it was the simplest thing to do.
I have a good feeling about the trees in this house today. I think we'll get some solid forwards progress tonight.
Now don't jinx it. Jinx it, or oh boy. Alright, so the way this works currently is that the text field is basically just a text element. The text element displays a string, and that's it. And now we have the text, which is what? The current text. Why do I? Oh, because I insert a new character. I have a text sort of placeholder, and then a cursor, which is just a position within that string. So now what we need to do is we need to generate a new entity that displays us a cursor, which is just going to be a rectangle. So let's do that. Define shader entity. Text field cursor. And it's gonna be... well... do we really need anything for this? Trying to think. No, we don't really need anything for this. No superclasses. Wait. Define shader class. Class shader. Whoops. And so since we don't inherit any functionality, we're gonna type this out real quick ourselves. Vertex array, bricks shader. Now there's a trick you can do in order to draw stuff without actually creating a vertex array or vertex buffers to contain your vertices and triangles and stuff. The way you do that is by explicitly putting that into the shader code. I have an example of that, I believe. That's maybe... no. Shader pass? Maybe? No. Where did I have an example of that? Dialogs? Yes, here we go. So this, basically what you do is you declare a global variable in your vertex shader, and then you simply index into that using the glvertex ID parameter that OpenGL gives you. So we're gonna do exactly the same. Or, well, pretty much exactly the same. Oh, wait, that's not where I want to be at all. Close that. And it's at this point I'm reconsidering whether this is the best idea. And I'm determining that it is not. Let's just make this a vertex entity. It's much easier. And then... make rectangle. Never know what to do with the sizing here. Let's just make it 1-1 for now. I need to curse. Oh dear, I don't remember anything if I could even talk. The pass. Post effect pass. Asset. Oh, I have an asset for that, right. For this full screen square. So we can do that. Saves us some stuff. And then... okay. So now we need to have cursor. Actually, let me put the position. Cursor needs to both have a text position and a, well, coordinate position. Let's see. Text position 1-0. And then we need to do. We can just make that located entity. And then instance text to cursor. Good comment. God. How are you guys doing tonight, by the way? Also, are the volumes okay? I'm not sure if the music is a bit loud.
volume is good, and doing all right, thank you. Just tired.
Okay. Wait, e-text is what? Text element. Where is that? What is v-text used for? I don't quite understand.
Volume okay. I'm keeping just one eye on the stream, as I'm wrestling with a UDF in a database. Sad face.
Oh boy. My condolences. Oh, I see. I think. What do I need text for? I don't think I need this. So if I just place all this with text. Delete does what? Just update so we can actually let that be. Left. Yeah, we'll just. No. Ugh. God. This is always what I'm struggling with right now, is that I would like it if the accessor and text position decided by its own, on its own, whether the index you're updating it to is valid or not. But in order to do that, it would need to have access to the actual string content so you can check the upper bound, but that would leak information upwards again and would make things more complicated that way, so I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Okay. Text entered. Pause. Okay. I think that's good. Sort of. So now we need a method that actually paints it. Is after good enough? I think so. Text fields, text fields. Target. Paint. Cursor text field. Target. So, do we need to do a thing? Yes, sure. I think I need a method for that. not entirely sure. Wait, what the fuck is going on? Why isn't it being drawn? No, because the color is, I believe. My cloth shader. Outfit full color. Stable set differences undefined. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh. I don't remember changing this. Alright. Why is the cursor not being drawn? That is the current question. Is it perhaps due to call facing?
Your git commit comments are good as ever.
Yeah, I know. There it is. Yeah, it was during due to call face. Again, every time so hold on. Geometry shapes, I believe, defines that. So let me reverse that real quick. 2103. There we go. Fixed. Alright. So now we have this tiny little square there. Which is being displayed. Reverse winding order on full screens. Square to be see. There, that better. Hope you're happy. Alright. So what I want to do is something really dumb. So if you had a dynamic pipeline where you can just say, draw me the thing, that will be, this all will be so much easier. But we don't. Oh. Why is that there and that there? That's bothering me. Where's the text element? What is it doing? And translate by the x2 offset. Calculates the text offset. Why? Why is it negative? That's a question. It isn't there. Oh shit. What is this? Oh. Derp derp. Come on, what am I doing? text. Oh my god, where else did I forget this stupid shit? Everywhere is the answer. Jesus. I really need a shortcut for this, because that sucks. Cursor. And then with accessors. Text. Is that how the syntax goes? No, it is not. With that, I really hate that with accessors and with slots have different syntax. And I don't understand. Okay. Actually, I do think I understand, but I don't want to know. So this all is now... Nope, not everything. Next position. If I could type. And... Okay. That should finally do the trick. Yes. Interesting. So it computes a different offset for different numbers. Indeed. But why is it negative for some? See that? Shouldn't be the case, should it? Maybe this needs to be negative. 1, 2, 3, 4. That looking better. Yes. Indeed. Much better already. Good. One thing fixed. Is that even centered properly though? Good question. Will I not make this any smaller? Guess not. It looks pretty centered. I think that's right. What happens if I revert that? Yeah, that's bad. Okay. So now we're in the goo with that. Okay, good. Now when we draw this thingy. No, when we change this is really a bother. I think I need to make a backlink from the cursor to the actual text field after all, so that we can get access to the string that we're manipulating. And other stuff, because when you change the position of the cursor within the string, it needs to compute its screen positions based on the characters that come before it. Because we're not dealing with monospace fonts. The position is variant depending on what characters you have, so it needs to call out to lib font to compute the proper size. And I don't want to push all that logic into this. It just doesn't seem like the right place for it. So we're gonna do this. Actually, a text element is what? Text element. Line. Text asset. So it has an asset specifically for that. I see. That'd be good enough to have access to. Where's that? Oh, that's... Wait, what? Text Oh, that's not even a computer property? Why am I... What? Where am I setting text offset? I'm confused again now. Oh, that's... Doesn't make any... What? So what this is doing is it's trying to figure out what the proper alignment options are. For example, if you have center text. So if I go back into the workbench, no, not that. I don't even know what that is. This here, and we change this into a text element. It breaks. Fantastic. Why is there no preferred width? Oh, it's a... Oh, right, because it's not... I think I called it label yet. Yeah. So the negative was wrong here. Yeah. It was working right before, it's just calculating the left side weird. Possible that this should be reversed instead. So as you can see, for example, the label can't receive focus, so it doesn't highlight when you click on it. So, what if they do this? Yeah, that works. I'm not sure if that's groovy. Seems okay. Oh dear. I'll leave it like this for now. Alright. You know, it doesn't make sense. Right. Back to this. Now we wanted a backlink, so we have text field. Now we can have the update logic, text position. If I could type it all. Actually, be around. I have a clamp? No, I don't. So... No, whoops. There we go. Should make that fine, so now we can just do that. And now, if the cursor has been updated, we update its physical location as well. Which... I'm receiving spam email. Fantastic, thank you. So now, set as VX. How do I... Assets, font. Yeah, I don't like this. So let's see here. Let me export that real quick. Font. And why isn't that? Oh, because of this. Should be okay. Good. Ugh. Oh, great. This is also not great, having to copy the string. Text. Oh, where is this order flipping? Next phase input line. No, it isn't. Oh, yes it is. Never mind. Ah. Okay. Hey, hey, hey! Look at that. Super. Sweet. We're rolling. dot is at its proper place now. I don't think you can see it because it's fucking tiny as shit. That's nice. Alright, good. Groovy. Next thing is scaling the cursor to the height of the thing, which we can get with the extents as well, I believe. Or scale by what happens if I do this? That's a stupid thing to do. What's going on? Where is it going? Oh, because... Smart moves. Very smart moves. Alright, we need... Jesus, this music though. Take it easy. You know, I like it, but it's a bit too intense. We need... things. Yeah, almost looks okay. Cool. Wait, why is the gap so big there? Whoops. Odd. Sounding pretty big gaps for these. Well, I guess it's just a thingy of the font. These are like super tight. Okay. Amazing. Really need to have repeat keys as well, somehow. I'm not sure how to do that yet. Possibly a timer on tick and stuff. Oh, I do? I thought I... Oh, it doesn't work for backspace. Why? Why does it work for A, but not for backspace? What is that? Is that a GLFW thingy? This is weird. Okay. So this is obviously not going to work if we scale up the font. Let's do that. Text. How do I scale the thing? I thought I had a thing to scale. Text up. Do I? Don't I? Yes, I do. Eyes. Where's that used? Let's see. Okay, it uses it as a scaling property. Okay, that's fine. Should probably be an argument here though. Size. 24 was the default, I believe. Yep, let's see. Size 72. Look at that. Blurry as fuck, but oh boy. What is going on now? Please. Oh, the fucking doesn't take scaling into account, of course. What do we do about that? We do font. Make a method, def method, text, entity text. RTB gap text extent font text no font entity, and now put a new one where each is scaled. Actually less. Oh wait, top copy a thing. Fuck. How do you do that where... Isn't there a thing in lambda lists to have the variable named something different than the keyword used to determine it? I seem to recall there being something like that. Let me look up things. Probably have this on the visible, so I don't do things on the thing where you can't thing it. Where was it? Lambda lists. Winner lambda list. Keyword name. Wait, what? Oh, indeed, yeah. I remembered right. So I can do this. I think. Is that right? Or is that... Oh, the other way around. Okay. No, not scale size. What? Oh, so it was the other way around? Oh, wait, hold on. Needs to be key. Dummy. Yeah, I'm aware of that, but... I mean... I know, but I'm not in high speed or anything. I know it can be nil. What are you talking about? Why are you showing me this? Weird. I don't know. Okay, text extent, good. Okay, so now in this we calculate the text extent from the text asset. Whoa, what the fuck? Do I not see it right? Or what the hell is going on? Holy shit. Oh, I'm a dumbass. That's not how that works. The scale needs to be... font scale needs to be not just the size, but size by the thing, size of the font. That's more like it. Yeah. Nice, good shit. Okay. All right, got that. And then what?
This looks nice already.
Sort of. I mean, it's kind of shitty, but you know. I don't think I need to have it really a located entity. That's a waste. How about a properties vector? Is x offset the y offset the x scale of the y scale? How about that? Accessor. This is nice. There we go. That's good. And now we can set up the that translate by ex wait. So dy by dw. Okay, good. Now we just need to figure the proper sizing out, which happens here. After cursor text cursor reader cursor, and then it needs to be VZ, no, VW. And this needs to be good. Oh no, what? Oh, that's a thing that sometimes happens. Sometimes when you recompile classes, it'll throw an error because the game is still running, and SBCL flushes accessors underneath, and then when it tries to use it, it might not be there temporarily, so there you can just continue and it'll be fine. Right, okay, so we need to update this based on the size of the font. Text, asset, text. I think that should maybe work. Not sure. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? Why is that so big? Not right. And why does the rescaling not work? Holy shit, look at that. That's a tad too large, isn't it? Huh. Interesting. So that's 24. That's way more than 24 pixels though, is it? Like 4 times as much. Does that work? That seems about right. I'm just trying things out, so I have no idea. But let me see what happens if I change the text size now. Size back to 24. Yeah, still seems to work sort of fine. Sort of. Is it always... always sort of a bit smaller, but I don't know if it's... yeah, no. 36. 8. I don't even see that, but that seems right. 12 point. I really need sight distance fields so bad. Text scaling is atrocious. So what if we do this, that? But what I also would like to have is that the width of the cursor is scaled as well. So that's easy. Like this, maybe? I don't even know what the hell is going on now. 72. Okay, that's nice and fat. Maybe a bit too fat, question mark? Yeah. A bit too fat. Let's do that. That seems fine. Also, what if we do this? Good. I would like to have the cursor down below. So hold on. FBY. Could be get a B from text. I don't think that's gonna work. It did. Wow. In the opposite direction. Though actually I can calculate that much better if. Also that extent is actually not proper yet. Yes. Since it doesn't calculate the thing. Text extent, entity, text.
Shouldn't be the multiplier a function of text size as well?
What do you mean? Which multiplier? So what I'm thinking about is, instead of having this, calculating it with the extent, so that find. Oh, we just need top and bottom. Get extent U. Alright. And this can be I don't know, I'll step this out, and this was wait, what? I'm gonna do wave. Oh god, my brain is farting. Cause
the divisor, actually, you're using to compute the VZ component of cursor size. I'm not sure either. I don't want to confuse you.
I don't know. Fuck. I don't know what the hell is going on right now, so I'll try some stuff out and we'll see how it goes, okay? How about that? Nil is not a number. What? Why is that nil? Oh, because I'm a dumbass. Yeah. Alright, so give me the workbench over here. Not useful. Okay, so now it's really big all the time. Maybe I should add these up instead. No, that's even worse. Why is that so bad? What the fuck? This should give me... Okay, so the way I'm calculating it now is the top minus the bottom extent of the text itself. Why is that so huge? That is a good question. Why is that so huge? Also, where did I define that font? I think that was in controller for the talk. It was. What's the assets font? Standard size for a font? 24. I don't think I oversize anything, do I? Make font. Yeah, I don't oversample. Okay, maybe I should. Wait, where did my cursor go now? Why isn't it being displayed? What the fuck? Is this shit? What happened? What happened? Oh, I see now. Yeah, that's what I feared. So if the text asset isn't loaded yet, and I try to query the size here, then bad things happen. Ah, this is a problem. Well, it's not necessarily bad things happen, but you know. How do we fix this? How do we fix this? And why is that so tall? That is... I don't know. So hold on. If I just leave everything like this. We reload. That's not 1 pixel, is it? Why is it twice as tall as it should be? Odd. Pretty odd. Is this scaling possible that... No, it's not possible. See? That would make some sense. What I'm thinking about is that a scaling somewhere is leaking out. Specifically this here. But I pushed a matrix, so that shouldn't happen. Weird. Very weird. But still, that dot shows up as 2 pixels for me. And it shouldn't, it should be a single unit. No wait, it shouldn't be. I'm a dumbass, I forget. The fucking full screen square is 2 pixels tall. Because OpenGL... So, the full screen square is a square that is as big as the normalized coordinate view. So in OpenGL, what happens is that this window actually only displays triangles at the coordinates from -1, to 1, 1. And the reason for this is so that I can perform all the clipping and all of that stuff in a normalized space. And the way you get things to display and have different sizes is by scaling and rotating things around to fit into that viewport from -1 to 1, 1. And so because that's a total of 2, the full screen square is not 1 pixel wide, but 2. Alright, anyway. Our thingy here needs to be UB by 2. And this here needs to be -b maybe. Who knows? That doesn't seem right. That seems even less right. What was it when I do 0? That seems the most right now, for some reason. How? That makes no sense. But... okay, let's make this 48. Okay, for some reason this is not correct. Good. Alright. Fuck. Sure, alright, whatever. Wait, what if I do this instead? I don't even know, is the B negative? I think it is, so... Okay, so now we have a thing that is proper, I think. Problem is, that's quite a bit too tall for most things, I think. But it aligns properly with the button now, I think. Who knows, anyway. Oh my god. Emoticons. Nah. Yeah. Whoa, what the fuck was that? So now the only problem is the width, which is what? I mean, I did have it, the width of the cursor was a function of the font size before, which I think is the proper thing to do. So let's reinstate that. Size, font. Yep, that's really fucking big, so let's divide it by 2. Yep, I think I can live with this. Visit my cool website at www.eatmydick.com at shithouse. Okay, right, so you saw a different problem appearing though, which is goes beyond its actual intended size somehow. And I think that has to do with I do a clamping thingy. Clipping thingy, where is it? I'm not liking this music right now. So, where is that? Spacer, no, flat widgets. Fakeable, no, that's not it. Bordered widget, no. Where is that stuff?
You almost rickrolled me.
Nah, you're putting too much faith into me. There would not have been a recall. I would have not thought of that. I'm not as clever. Okay, so there's a thing somewhere, somehow here that does flipping. Rectangular pane. Yes, scissor. There we go. Scissor test. So quantities, this is just an entity, another rectangular pane. Hold on, what? Which things are even panes and which are not? Elements. Flat widget is just a widget, but not a rectangular thing. Highlightable widget. Bordered widget. Spacer. Label. Text comment. Widget, text widget. Where did I even draw the background though? Here it is. Widget. So this should be a rectangular pane. Did it? What are panes? Panes contain a layout. That's really not what we want. Not in this case anyway, but we still should do clipping, so we should move this out of that. Okay, how do we do this? Everything's a widget. I'll maybe put that in there. I think the extent is... What's the actual size? Is that the extent? Because then it would make sense to... with height widget, which is defined where... Yeah, the extent is that. So, actually I think it makes sense to have the scissor test everywhere. So, we just need to do that, and get rid of that. So, method, paint, round, widget, target. So we need to enable this scissor test always. Whoa. Now that is interesting. What is happening right now? What? Why is this moved to the side now? Damn, bizarre. Huh. Also, trial display. Scissor test. Huh. What happens if I do that? Nothing. Astounding. Why is that happening? That is very strange. Huh. seems like things are now not translating properly anymore due to the scissor test. Is that really what's happening? It is indeed. If I disable this, then this happens, which is even more bizarre. Oh. Huh. Interesting indeed. Why would it... I don't remember that. GL scissor. Oh, should do that here. Finds a rectangle called a scissor box in window coordinates. The first two arguments, X and Y, with enable and disable scissor test. The test is enable only pixels that lie within the scissor box can be modified by drawing commands. Window coordinates have integer values at the share corners of frame buffer pixels. Scale scissor allows modification only the lower left pixel in the window. Any pixels on the scissor test. Oh. It doesn't specify this behavior though. Weird. So what? What if I disable the scissor test? And it's still fucking up. Why? What the fuck? Why is it suddenly screwing up? That wasn't happening before. Why is that thingy? Weird. I mean, the extent calculation can't be wrong now, can it? This is weird. Maybe I'm getting tired. Probably am. Was there another paint method that had around stuff going on for the Witcher? I don't see any. Maybe I had one in error. I did. Look at that. Haha, I did. Like a fucking dumbass. I did. Idiot. Stupid, dumb idiot. There we go. Now we can enable it again. And we'll be dandy. Look at that. Clipping. Amazing. Woo! Woo!
Dandy.
Another thing we should do is when the text is set or updated or anything like that, we should update the cursor to be at that position. I think that's a fair thing. No? No, actually it doesn't. Never mind. But an initial thing, we should probably place it afterwards. Text position. Length. Text. Field. Well, that we do this. We'll be at the end. Good. Fantastic. So, why does scaling not work right? Like, that is weird as shit. It does position these right, but the clipping isn't proper anymore. Why? It used to work just fine. On. Like if I scale like really small like that and big again, still the same. Where is this coming from? Like, you see the UI elements are scaling just fine. It's just that for some reason it's constrained to this fixed size all the time. Why? Why? Maybe. No. Only making it worse. Why then? If I do a full scene reload, it works fine. What the hell is going on here? No, it doesn't. What? Never mind. That's so bizarre. Why? Why? Is it like not updating the textures of pipeline? I don't know. Something odd is going on. On here. Horizontal fonts by 2. Add text extent method. Enable scissor test overlay. Text a bunch of crap related to UI and especially text. So, let me see. Do I actually can actually use that anyway? UI window with a rectangular pane. Really? Okay, well you're just a pain now. Where's that another one? Oh, because of that highlight thing, I think. Okay. So, I guess I might as well talk a bit about how layouting works in this system that I devised so far. Namely, what? No, it's trying to... Okay. Yeah, I need to really figure out a solution for this. That's balls. Okay. So, back to explaining the layout. The way this works is that all the sizes and positions and so forth are all relative. The idea behind it is that because in pretty much every case you want your game to be available in different kinds of resolutions, which means that the size and sort of the density of your pixels or your screen real estate is going to change. And for that reason, you usually want to have sort of something that scales properly. And because of that, everything is in relative sizes. So the example that we have here is relatively trivial. So every element specifies a preferred size. And the preferred size is in terms of width and height relative to the parent container. So for the spacer, the preferred size of, say, 1 and 1 means it wants to be, if possible, as big as the container itself. Now, what happens when you exceed that size, like when you have multiple elements that each add up to a size that is bigger than the container, then it simply scales everything down to fit into the container. So this is why this works. The default preferred size for any kind of widget is 1, 1. You can see it down here. So obviously if we have 1 and 1 and 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 and that together, you get 2.3, which is much bigger than the parent, but then it scales it down and it fits nicely into everything. I don't know if this is the best way to go about this, but it's certainly one possibility. Now, another reason why I wanted to do it like this is because in pretty much every other UI system I've ever worked with, the actual method of determining the size of an element is really convoluted and very hard to really reason about. Because oftentimes what you have is you have a preferred size, some kind of minimum size, some kind of maximum size, and some kind of sizing policy that says what happens if there is more or less space available. Now, what happens if the minimum size of your container elements exceeds that of the parent? What happens if they all have a maximum size that won't fit the container? How do you properly distribute things between containers and so forth? So that all kind of makes things really complicated and very hard to, for a regular user to just think about. So this model that I have seems much more simple, but I'm not sure if it is sufficient. For instance, if you have some kind of thing where you want to have a menu in the center of the screen, so you want to have padding on the sides, then you want to have a menu in the middle. Now, when the window shrinks in width, what you usually want to have is not necessarily that the entire thing shrinks, but rather that the padding on the sides shrinks and the thing in the middle stays the same. Now, I have no idea how to formulate that. Currently, I don't think with what I have implemented this is really possible. So there needs to be some kind of way to determine size according to the overall window screen space available. and not just related to the parent size available. If we can do that, then I think... No, that wouldn't solve that issue either. Never mind. Why did I think I needed that? I had some other reason to need that. Pretty sure. No, never mind. What? Huh. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that example that I gave pretty much deals in... well... in a fixed size, sort of. Really. Whereas the other parts are flexible, so... Maybe there should be a property for an element to be fixed in size so that it always takes up the same amount of... No, that doesn't make any sense either. Never mind. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's a good solution for that. Because, you know, what I really want to do is discourage non-scalable UIs, but at the same time, why the fuck... Oh, the cursor is because of... yeah. Loading order thing. I don't know what to do about this. I really don't know. I don't know what to do about that. Trying to think, but nothing comes to mind. Another thing that I've been, well, that I know is a problem, but I haven't really been thinking about, is the question of how elements are actually drawn. Because, you know, in your game you might want to apply certain kind of theming, or, you know, have some kind of special way in which the UI elements are presented to you, the user, and not just have some kind of standardized way of doing that. So there should be some way to decouple the logic of element behavior and element drawing. But as you saw in the case of, for example, this text thingy, that can become quite difficult to achieve, since the things are rather tightly coupled. I mean, I haven't really done much at all in terms of how things are really drawn. Except for maybe highlightable, but all it does is, you know, change the color. Is not great so far. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so let's try something out. The other thing is, like, currently, like, fonts don't scale is another problem. You know, be the same size. No, they shouldn't. I don't know. Don't have any ideas. Let me make something more interesting though, at least. Bit of a more interesting example, maybe.
I don't know anything.
Me neither, buddy. That's that should be an article. Wait, what? Weird, why is the roll not happening?
Drawing widgets with a theme is an interesting problem. The way I imagine it is a two-way communication channel. First, the theme tells the underneath system kind of a blueprint of what he wants to do. The layout system sends back some results based on what the layout part determines. Then the theme does the actual drawing. You see, if it's just hand-waving, it all works.
Yeah. I getcha. That's the same thing with geometry clip maps, you know. You just sort of, you make some rings of geometry and then you just draw different resolution height maps on there. And that's it. It's really simple and easy. I'm sure you could get it done in like no time at all. Right. So, when I'm a pain in the ass. We know. So that's just a pane and a group. What does group do? Isn't that pane a group anyway? It is not, apparently. Why not? What is a group? Group. Group. Oh, it's an input group. I see. So do I not have a UI context group? Yeah, okay, so right, I remember now. That's how that works. Okay. So the way because these kinds of user interfaces need to be usable both by mouse and by controller, there needs to be some kind of sophisticated system that tells you how to delegate focus. So, for instance, if you have a focus hierarchy, or you have some sort of like... I guess in this case you would have... whoa. What the hell is going on there? Do I still have a thing? I guess it crashed. In this case, you basically have a base context, which is the entire window. And then you have a subcontext, which is this text field, another one, which is this one. And then possibly a login button. Now imagine if you had another outer context around that had a sort of a central menu where you could choose things to do, like login, go offline and exit or something. So you would have sort of a hierarchy of things, and you need to be able to navigate that hierarchy. Now, to complicate things, this hierarchy of inputs does not always correspond to the hierarchy of layouts, because the layouting might need to be more complex, more structured than the input hierarchy. So for this reason, the system distinguishes that by having things marked as a group. A group is something that has its own sort of context and can select a next or a previous element within that group. So you can say, select the next sub-element, select the previous sub-element, go one level up or go one level down. So you can delegate only some UI elements to be groups or to have any kind of input handling, whereas others will simply send it downwards or delegate it in some fashion. So now if I want to have this work, I need to make a quick class here. Def class. Quick container. Which is UI pane and group. And that probably needs to be... Is that just a class? Really? I think it might be. Yes, it is. Amazing. So if we do that and restart our things because stuff crashed. Where is did I accidentally close SLDB? I probably did. Let's just restart. But yes, I'll probably, maybe next week we'll do a brainstorming session again about how we should solve these two issues that I've raised. Okay, so now you see, you have this layout of two things, and then we can input stuff. That works nicely. And if I plug in a controller, I should be able to navigate this as well, I believe. So, like, reconciliating the problem of having something that is pointer-based and something that isn't was a kind of a big problem in the beginning, so, yeah. So, hold on, if I could plug in a thing now... Does this work? Doesn't... How did I do things? Possible... Oh, I've probably changed the way labels work, so hold on. Input... D-pad up. Yeah, I think change that in the new mapping stuff. Let me look that up. Yeah, gamepad low level. So what is it called now? D-pad U. Okay. R L. And I also changed those things. Ah, why did I close that? I have this bad habit where I immediately close buffers all the time, and then I spend a lot of time reopening them. Good stuff. LH. Okay, so doesn't seem to work right. Bastard. I can navigate upwards and downwards properly, but not within the group as I should be able to. Why not? Why not? Weird. Huh. Well, I'll have a look into that. I guess. Why? Weird. Well, that's a thing for next time. Or whenever I work on this. We can throw that out. More minor. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Alright, so plan for next week is brainstorming about two things, or maybe just one, depending on how long it takes. The first one is figuring out how to handle positioning or scaling for UI elements that need some kind of absolute sizing. So the best example I mentioned is, for example, you want to have a centered like list of buttons or whatever the hell, and you would like that to be somewhat consistent. And I say somewhat because at some point you probably also want to scale that. Like for instance, if we have a game where you would have like I don't know, some kind of thing where you have like a master view here, this buffer, and then you have like this thing of categories that you can select here, and maybe another one that displays status information. What you would like to have when it resizes is mostly it should scale these and leave these intact in terms of their like height and in terms of their width respectively.
What if I want to make a pixel art game where all scaling needs to be nearest neighbor and integer multipliers?
I mean, the scaling of the textures is not really the concern. Yeah? Nearest neighbor and stuff refers to how you scale your textures, and that's a texture property and not a property of how big the UI elements are. We are talking here only about the scaling of UI elements relative to each other. So we're expressly trying to avoid talking about pixels. So how things are actually drawn is sort of orthogonal to that question. But yes, that's one of the problems to deal with. Figuring out how to get sort of probably aspect ratio related fixed sizes. And the other is, how do we separate the drawing logic of UI elements from their input logic? Or their behavior, rather. Because things can be quite tightly coupled sometimes, but you would still leave some kind of clean interface to allow the user to write their own ways in which things are drawn and displayed. So those two things are what we're going to look at next, I believe. I still haven't thought about the geometry clip map problems at all, mostly because I just couldn't get myself to care enough. I'm sure we'll finish that at some point, don't you worry, but I want to kind of do different things for a while. Also, next week is actually Christmas, isn't it? 24th. Which means either the treehouse is going to be late, or it might not happen at all. You can check the events page. So events.tymoon.eu/1. This here is the Treehouse event page. If it doesn't happen, you can just check this. It always displays to you when it happens in your time zone, and in UTC it tells you what's happening on the stream. And if I do cancel it, it'll also tell you that. So for example, if I go to cancel here, then it'll tell you the event is cancelled for next week. We don't want to cancel now. So check that in case I need to cancel it. It'll be there, and we might reconcile at another date, or just do one after the Christmas holidays. So yeah, that's it for the treehouse, I believe. Other than that, if you don't want to check this page all the time, check my Twitter or Reddit. I'm probably going to make a post about things, depending on how it turns out. Okay, I think that's done. Got the text element pretty much mostly done for single line text. Multi-line text is going to be another adventure entirely. Some other time though. Alright. Oh boy, this music. Alright, thank you for joining me, and yeah, see you next time, whenever that happens. And have some good Christmas holidays. Enjoy them.